Son, it's a long story. You missed it, but we'll get back to it later. All right, we're now live, folks. Welcome to another week. The SO Training Dojo's Christmas parties. So we're just having some fun here fucking around. And let's do, we're doing a Slosky. Bill, I'm going to call that from now on. That's it. It's just doing a Slosky. So I'm going to go left to right on my screen. Bill, what you've been up to, and there you go.
Sure. My name is Bill Slosky. I'm the Director of SEO Research for Go Fish Digital, and I write at my blog, SEO by the Sea, on things like Google patents and white papers. What am I up to? Christmas party.
Nice. That's you know, Bill and I have a lot in common as far as patents and stuff, but that's where we differ. If it was him, I'd be like, I'm Bill Slosky. And if you don't know who I am, are you kidding me? Anyways, all right, moving on. Doc Sheldon.
Hey, I'm Doc Sheldon, Intrinsic Value SEO and Search News Central. And like Bill, I'm only here for the party, and I heard there's going to be free booze.
Well, there is, my brother, but you're going to have to come up here to get it.
Well, wait for me in the summer. How's that?
Actually, I was about to say be more than happy to drink your share, but no, I don't need to be in the hospital today, so no, we're gonna forget that. Terry's not here, so we're gonna go with Steve. Steve.
Okay, so I'm the only Steve. Wait, I'm the only Steve today. Great. Yay! Hi, I'm Steve. I've been doing SEO for 2 decades. Why do I sound like Charlie Brown's teacher?
Yeah, so, someone's got an echo going there. I think it's probably Tim.
Anyways, I do SEO old school. I do SEO experiments all the time, and I work on Fortune 5 companies.
Very nice. See, no cloak and dagger this time. Now, who does have that echo? Oh, it's Bill. Bill's got the echo.
Not me.
It's Bill. Okay. All right. Next, Tammy.
Hey, so I'm apparently the only boobs in the room. Tammy Wood.
Hey, you know, some of us have been gaining a little weight. We're working on it. You know.
That again. Way to go. I've been doing SEO for 21 years. I'm 100% old school. I look great in white, and I like to cut through the BS that kind of is being trained right now. I am the SEO director for MKG Marketing based out of New Orleans, but I get to work in my pajama office in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep, like we always say in these hangouts, you don't know if I'm wearing pants.
You have no idea.
Because that's my job, you know. All right, Tim.
He's wearing pants.
My name is Tim Calling. I'm the owner of Serpent's Heart Web Design and Marketing, and I'm just sitting here stunned at the thought of Dave not wearing pants. I don't know what else to say today.
Well, have you ever seen a one-eyed anaconda? Good there, and that's it. Oh, and Terry's back. All right, Terry, come on, man. Tell everyone who you are.
Hey, what's up?
Buddy?
Terry Van Horn, founder at SEO Pros, and worked with Dave at SEO Training Dojo. And I do some of my own work. I think I have a website. Yeah, internationalwebsitebuilders.com.
And I guess speaking of the dojo, we are in some conversations on a few levels as far as what to do with the damn thing next year. We're gonna do something with it. We're not sure what it, you know. So Search Geek Speak, Terry. I also thinking about bringing that back because there's a few kind of topical things people have been mentioning me lately, and I didn't want to kind of bring them up in these Friday things. So I think we're probably gonna look at some of that, probably bi-monthly. I don't know. You know, again, it gets to be too much work. Everybody. Yay! Terry, you missed it. You got to see my outfit here. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I'm going to kill my camera again. But yeah.
His pants.
Yeah, I got it going on today. my camera's gonna live. So yeah, we're all Christmased up, people. See, I even got the back. I even set up the chair to get the tree and everything else in, man. You know, we got everything going on. All right, people. So I don't know. I had a whole bunch of notes, but as I was saying in the green room, my laptop died in the shop, so I don't have any notes. So we're just winging it here. What's going on? Is that who's got people yipping? Somebody does. I don't know. Now everyone's muted, so nobody cares. So now I'm just talking to myself. Thanks, people. Appreciate that. Okay, so we can't really touch on 2018 yet because that's next Friday. So I guess we have to stick with like 2017. Anybody notice that that John Mueller's now officially doing the Matt Cuts role as far as putting out videos?
Officially? No.
Well, no, like literally videos, dude.
Danny's doing the public role for Google, but John's doing a new series of videos for Webmaster Help called SEO Snippets.
Yeah, here, I'll show you. Looking over here, I got it pulled up. So yeah, welcome to SEO Snippets. Yeah. Webmaster Help. All right, so yeah, they're over here. Oh, really? My Firefox has been awesome since it's updated, by the way. We have a whole bunch of new stuff. Welcome to Snippets. Like, what do we got here? Is Google need moment glasses? Is Google crawl delay rule ignored by Googlebot? Subdomain or folders, which is better? My site's template has multiple H1 tags. How do I regain control of my? So he's got 5 or 6 right out now. How to do fixed penalties affects to SEO? This is what I want to see, Terry. I didn't get time to actually watch it before we came on air. That's the one I want to see. Because you and I have done a lot of forensic work, so I'm curious what he says compared to what we know. So yeah, this is apparently now a thing. Yeah, I say he's doing the Matt Cuts thing because that was kind of Matt's thing in the past. So.
Well, but the whole he's still doing that, but Danny's still going to provide support in the public spokesperson as Matt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like it's a 2-pronged attack because I don't think that Gary guy really has the personality for it. Ooh.
You think?
Jaded or angry or frustrated or like he
Who's
just
that? What? Which one?
Gary Elias, or I don't really know how to pronounce it, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering. I've talked to him a couple times on email, like we have talked and stuff, but yeah, he just seems a little jaded for that kind of public role. So
yeah, I the snark is strong in this one.
Look at you go, you little Star Wars guy, you. Melissa Fatch would be impressed.
One ring to rule them all.
Yeah, so apparently that's now official. Apparently John's going to be making these videos, and I haven't really watched a lot. I just came across them this morning, so not much to say.
What do you think about videos? It shows, I think the frustrating thing about doing this shit on videos is it just shows the mentality and the attention span of these new guys that are coming in. It's like if you can't sit down and read an article.
Yeah, but okay, but yeah, but again, I think this is going to turn into Matt Cuts land in the sense that you're going to have one side that's going to say that what he said is the truth. You're going to have the other side that's going to say that it was bullshit, and then you're going to have that middle ground saying, no, there's something between the lines. You got to read between the lines. So for me, it's fodder. Tammy, it's fodder because every time he puts out one of these videos, I'm going to enjoy usual washing machine shit with it. It's going to be fun, man.
Don't be mean.
I listened to all 6 of them this morning. They were pretty good, not bad.
Were they? Really?
Yeah.
Because it's like I said, I didn't get a chance to really watch them all.
He's a little more direct than Matt was.
Nice.
I think the less reading between the lines. John puts everything in context. That's what I'd like from him. And a lot of people don't understand context. They think if he says it, it covers everything, but it only covers what the question was asking.
Right. What's
So
relevant
he's
to the
gonna
question,
address
not
the
on the
moral
broader
scale.
scale.
Yeah, he addresses specific questions. He doesn't get all general, and that's what I like about him. But people
Like I remember Bill.
take his specific questions in and take them out of context and try and make them. That's the.
Well, I remember what he used to, come to Bill's hangouts and stuff, right? And on air he was always good and everything else, and even off air, he used to be even better. Like he would, because he doesn't want to say too much publicly. And I remember, sitting around with him and stuff. So I've always liked John. I have no problem with him. I've talked to him privately, and I've never had a problem with him. So the Gary guy, like I've had some email exchanges with that Ilias Gary guy, and he's just a little, all right, bro, calm down.
Yeah, that guy, I don't listen to anything he says because I never know where it's coming.
He's a bit snarky. He's a bit snarky for sure. I
Well,
don't think
you
he's
don't
a
know
fan
if
of
it's half an answer or the whole answer. That's what I don't like about him. He really likes the sound of his own voice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that's too far off. But then again, look at the age difference, right? So
he is a little young, yes.
Yeah, maybe that's just part of it.
But we won't hold that against him very much.
No, a little bit, maybe. Tammy, why are we seeing like half of your face, woman? Like, turn that camera a little bit there. Now, there we go. Tammy's my new discovery, and I had no idea she's actually been at this like almost, about a year longer than me. So she's my new girl. Hi. So glad you joined us.
Tammy doesn't put on makeup for video, so I have lovely hair.
Nobody cares here. It's all about the information or lack thereof or whatever. Snarkiness. And you've got lots of snarkiness. So
I do. I am built on bad decisions and shenanigans. It's true.
Hey, Terry, I've been spending some time with Tammy personally. Yeah, she's like your long lost sister, bro.
Oh yeah. If she's been doing it that long, we probably hung in a lot of same place.
Yeah, you put the two of you on a panel, it'd be entertaining. I could say that much.
I was in hiding. Basically, my husband had no idea what I did every day from the comfort of my own home. And now that my husband is gone, I can actually come out of hiding. So more than likely, you guys have seen me bits and pieces of places, but I haven't been vocal at all.
Well, that's it. Yeah, no, I've run into you over the years. Just didn't know that your level of knowledge. I didn't know your perspectives on things. I didn't know your snarkiness. I didn't know that you'd been at it, 20 years. So.
I really have.
It's been fun.
I think 1996, I worked for a company called Speedy Click, and they were bought out right before the bubble went, or right before it burst. And yeah, I've literally been doing it ever since. You just can't stop this stuff. I don't care. I love everything about it.
Yep. I think anyone who's been in it 20 years, you got to be a bit of an addict at some point. Like it's just, it consumes my life, and
it does. It really, really does.
What?
An addict
in SEO and marketing. I think that 20 years. How many people have come and gone in that time, Steve? You know what I mean? Like you can't even count on all your fingers, hands, and fucking everyone else's. That I mean, anybody who's been around this long, it's got to be just part of your DNA almost.
Yeah. Well, mine started in when I was 12. So that's long ass time ago. We're not going to say how long exactly because I'm not going to give my real age out. Anyways,
You're such a woman. Wow.
Well, no, I'm also I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Snap anymore just because just privacy crap anymore. It's just getting ridiculous. No, the SEO stuff started like groups, news groups, and then we were doing building web pages, and then creating the categories for Yahoo. Where was the article I put out? I need to find that article, but I did the article you wanted, Bill, the 24 things about the 24 years in SEO. Did you see that on Medium? You're muted, Bill.
So there we go. I said, yeah.
Yeah, you right? Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, there's kind of the things. The first thing was, the Netscape Golden Key a long time ago. I remember being on TV about that stuff. So I think there's a lot of things that happened in search, and they're still constant. It's the same things. The last 3 SEO audits I did, 2 of them were healthcare related and didn't have SSL. Well, we use a service for our form. Well, why would I want to go to your website if you weren't SSL if you're healthcare? It's just a privacy thing. And so it's not necessarily everything is SEO logic. It's that logic is SEO, and people need to think about the customer and their journey to path to purchase, the buying cycle, what they need from a brand, and basically say, okay, this is what SEO is. And if SEO means you're a healthcare or you're a fintech site, you need to be SSL, period. If you go to Google Webmaster Tools and 40% of your queries are mobile, you better make sure your mobile first index is there. You know what I mean? Because you're getting most of your traffic from desktop. It's because you're not showing up in mobile first, and a lot of people aren't doing that. So same thing. It's the same thing over and over. Back then, we were on a 2600 baud modem, so the pages you had to optimize your images. People stopped optimizing their images like 2 years ago for tablets because they wanted the really big killer resolution images, and they don't think that stuff doesn't download on mobile. And if your whole infographic and message is 2.5 meg PNG, then people aren't going to read it on a mobile device.
I thought it was all about like PBNs and spamming links and stuff. Wait a minute. What? Are you meaning
You've been hanging out at Facebook groups or something?
Yeah, I have. I'm sorry. Oh, I thought that's what SEO was. Apparently not. I think my 15-year-old son probably knows more about SEO just from listening to these chats and hanging around me than most of the people in those groups.
Yeah, I would completely, because you put them, to get online, you got to look at the dojo and read to post there.
Yeah, it's a scary thing out there.
Does your son read your posts on the dojo, dude?
Hell no. No. He didn't care that much, but he has to listen to it. Like, he's sitting here the whole time, So, he's just got 15 years of listening to my shit, or at least, probably 10. But, yeah. It's the same as my wife. She's a web developer, and she probably knows more about SEO and how it should be done than most people because not only listen to me, but also working with me on sites where she's a developer and I'm the SEO, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Like, my web developer wife knows more about proper SEO than most fucking people I seem to run into these days.
I tell you, I raised 3 kids in this damn house, and none of them like SEO. Not one single one of them got any information from me whatsoever.
Well, see, I used to make my kids go in because, again, I wanted, when they were, younger, up until now, and the whole way along the path, always wanted to see, because a certain extent, how people search the web as it evolves is how the search engines are going to evolve as well. So I've always sort of, a couple times a year, or maybe once a month, sit my kids down and say, go search for this or go find that, or give them a search task, essentially, right? And or ask them how they go about finding stuff and watch how they do it, because this will be the next generation. I mean, my daughter's almost 18, so she's, and I've been doing that with her. And so watching how they've evolved in their searching patterns helps me almost as an SEO try and see where this thing is going as far as what we do.
That I agree.
I find that important. It's what I call future proofing.
My oldest son is in network security, though, so he kind of took the really technical path. From what I did.
You can't ask those people.
No,
you got to ask this. It's funny, Tammy. A lot of the guys here know this, but I used to go down to the bar. And once upon a time, like we used to do like 2006 or 7, when we were still a podcast and we weren't doing video or anything. We used to talk about this, and back then I used to take my laptop down to the bar or pub, whatever you want to call And I take my laptop down and you know, grab a couple people, say I'll buy you a fucking beer, and you know what I want you to do is go find this, and sit there and watch how they found it, right? And then you know the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've been just letting them do it on their own cell phone, right? Saying, okay, grab your phone for a second and do this task for me, you know, and watch how they do it, like how many keywords they put in, how they reformat the query, how they go about it. Because to my mind, knowing what I know about search, I think, you know, they look at the data on Google's side to see, you know, how successful search tasks are completed by their users. So watching a user for me is just a little bit of side input for my brain, you know.
Completely agree. I did the same thing. I still do the same thing. Even when talking to somebody, I'm like, how would you explain to your mother how she's going to buy your Christmas gift online? And walk through it.
Yeah, but the fun is actually give them a search task. Literally give it to them and just let them go and watch what they do.
But people are stupid.
Yeah, that is so much fun.
We overthink them, I think. We give people way too much credit. People are dumb. They want to be handheld, just like AOL with keywords or whatever that.
Yeah, like my kids, one of the first things I learned, and to this day, was that they learned within a short period of time because they grew up with this technology. I mean, I'm 51, so I didn't grow up with it, but they grew up with it. And one of the first things I noticed is they learned quickly that longer queries get them there faster. You know, remember when we used to watch like query lengths back in the day, you know, and everyone was after those 2-word queries and this and that and da da da. And then slowly it was 3 words and 4 words, and you know, the data started coming out. You know, I'd watch my kids and yeah, they would like put 5, 6-word queries in because they realized that's how they get to what they wanted faster. They realized that 2-word queries, they'd have to reformat. So they stopped doing that. They would just literally put in 5-word queries. And, you know, and that was one of the things I learned early on, like, you know, 6, 7 years ago, that, you know, I think that generation has learned that, you know, because even my wife's son from before me, you know, he's 26 now, but at the time he was in his 20s, they were, you know, I had a tween and I had a 10-year-old, and just watching how they did that, they really learned to make longer, more specific queries to get where they wanted to get faster. And that was kind of a hint to me. Long tail is king.
That's true, but is that based on e-commerce, or do you think that's more based on referential?
More informational searches, yeah.
Exactly. So where I'm going with this, I worked in e-commerce for a long time on, you know, a million different clients, Target, whatever, we can name drop all day. And we found with the buying cycle, the people with the money really needed simple ways to find the purchase that they were looking for.
Then we had the rise of social, though. So now you get into attribution.
Exactly.
Right. Then you get into attribution models where they might find you on Pinterest, or they might find you on Facebook, then research the company, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, then you get into attribution models, which changed the whole dynamic again. Brand lift. You know, and it starts to get really fun. Oh, hello, daughter. No, you're not going to say hi, everyone? But yeah, so like attribution models in e-commerce become bigger, and that's something I watch a lot now. You know what I mean? Is not. That's why I like Facebook Pixel. You know, you get that in play with your SEO and your search, and you can get a sense of where the flow is in attribution, you know. I swear to God, I'm going to get a crickets thing, so I can just put it in.
I was going to ask a question, Dave, about the long tail searches. With longer searches, is more weight given to the first words than the 5th and 6th word?
In a query?
Yeah, in query.
Think
Go, Bill, because I was actually going to turn it over to Bill, because my belief is you can have part entity, part normal query. Like when you get in those long, it's not literally long tail to me, at least. Bill can go to this because I was actually going to ask him.
I'm thinking in e-commerce, and you talk about a noun and adjectives.
All right, go ahead, Bill. I'm pretty sure you got a thought there.
Okay, for a while, the search engines appeared to be trying to train us. The fewer words, the better. It was something like a word of the day. magic type thing on Groucho Marx TV show from long ago. Someone would say the magic words and win a prize. Search engines don't work that way. All the query terms are important, and they're trying. That was one of the points behind Hummingbird. They tried to make it so that they understood the context between query terms that weren't immediately adjacent to each other in a query.
So Steve, think 1 + 2 + 3, right? Now that equals 6, but without any one of those in that, it doesn't make sense. I think that's what Bill is saying. Like each piece is important, but they work together to make the final result.
Well, I think you can. Go ahead, Bill.
When you do a search that goes along the lines of something like find me a place that serves Italian food and inexpensively nearby, by the word place, you can tell from the word food in that query that you mean you want a restaurant, even though the words aren't next to each other. And it's looking at all the words in your query and trying to understand the context of what you're asking for.
What if you add to that query, instead of Italian food, you say Italian food, Northern cuisine or Milanese cuisine to actually refine the query further? Does the search engine kind of start to just ignore that part?
Are you on a second query, or is this your first query?
First query. You're using 5 or 6 words. I mean, I was looking for something yesterday or the day before, and it's socks, men, wool, black, knee length or executive length, something like that.
David, how does WordVac work?
It works by people out putting on tweets. Okay. So yeah, we could use you go on vector graph, but think of a graph in general, like red and apple. Now, normally they seem like two different terms, right? Red is a color, apple is a fruit. But when on a vector graph, on a word vector graph, they relate to each other because they're terms that are commonly used together. They're terms that relate to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Simplistic view, but think of all the different ways. Again, White House is one of Bill's favorite, and so on and so on. Did you paint the White House, or did I paint the White House? So context comes into it, but word vectors that relate to each other in certain. So what are the odds that this node relates to that node, and what are the odds that this node relates to that one? Key, probably, or like black turkey or whatever. Like ones that aren't as closely related on a vector graph aren't going to be as statistically as likely to be what they're looking for.
Like Sean White's house, right?
Sean's White House.
Sean White's house is somewhere in San Diego here. I know that.
Has a surname.
He doesn't snowboard there.
But he might be putting some up his nose, just saying.
I was going to say, with your apple red or red apple, it could go to food, but I worked in the automotive.
Yeah, but okay, so you tell me on a word vector graph, which would be closer in nodes, purple apple or red apple? Which nodes would be closer to each other?
Red.
Right? Purple apple, probably not, So it's a statistical thing in a sense.
Right. So Google switched over to a search of things rather than strings. So they're no longer looking to match the words in your query to words on pages. If you're talking about a certain type of cuisine from Italy, from northern Italy,
right,
you're still looking for a place. Google is still going to assume that when you use the word place, you're you mean a restaurant, but it's going to look for an entity that specializes in a certain type of cuisine.
Right.
And
And that's going to modify the search. Like it's going to take the adjectives and it's going to kind of standardize to a standard point on the graph, and it's going to match that word to words on the page, aren't they?
What?
Okay, but now you're back. See what Bill was saying about things, not strings, is now the words on your page. Again, this isn't keyword stuffing. This isn't phrase stuffing. It's not. It's concepts. It's context, and so it's going to try and going back to the whole disambiguous thing. It's going to try and understand what that page is about and match it. When you say words on a page, you're back to strings, meaning like whereas as opposed to things being something that could be implied, it could be
contextual.
Right.
so when you say Northern Italian food, Google may say, let me look that up in a knowledge base. And it might look at Wikipedia and try to find words that mean that type of cuisine.
Like,
and it may say, I'll look for pages that match that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So they look it up and they see Treviso or Trevisan, and they say, oh, that's Northern Italian. And so they match to a restaurant that says Trevisan cooking or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, like I try to explain to people in a sense that because everyone knows that did you mean in Google? Did you mean like it's almost like the engine does it to itself. Did they mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's talking to itself saying, okay, here's what they said, but did they mean this? And it tries to go and find that within itself, you know?
You see that a lot less than you did a year ago.
You remember the old search engines, Northern Lights or Looksmart, used to show categories for results, and then you could choose the category that you were looking for, and you would get more results based on those categories. Google's sort of moving towards that to some degree.
But they're doing it, yeah, okay. And that's your SERPs deserves.
And to me, it's almost a personal belief, Steve, because I've got nothing to back it up. But I believe a lot of this work is again going towards the future of voice search and of conversational search, in that everyone's got a different dialect, everyone's got a different way of talking, everyone's got a different way of thinking. So when you start to get into that level, eventually we're not going to be typing shit into a search engine. Everyone's going to be talking into a phone or whatever, or their little Google thing sitting on their, over here on the side of my house. Level of searching, you've got to start trying to understand more ambiguous things because everyone's got a different way of talking about stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
We like Bill was saying earlier, like search engines used to train us. Because like I said about my kids, they got trained that they had to put 4 or 5 word queries in if they want to get anything useful out without wasting half an hour trying to find it. When it comes to voice search, that's going to be even worse. So I think there's an element in their minds that a lot of this machine learning and artificial intelligence, I don't really consider it that yet. I don't think we're there, but people love to throw that around. But I think that's kind of just they see a bit of the future, and then that's why they're sort of working with algorithms to go that direction.
I get it. So the other thing you were bringing up, and I forget what it was now, but it made me think about pages that you don't understand what they're about, and I bring that up because I have clients who have websites built and spend a lot of money on websites, and the title tags, the descriptions and the H1 tags are just like, what is it you're selling? I look at the pages like, I don't know instantly what you're selling. I mean, do you guys still get?
Okay, but see, to me, I had a client like that recently, bro, and I ended up like we parted ways because literally my wife worked on the site, and she's the web developer. She worked on it for like, I don't know, 6 months. Me one day, and she's like, I still don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're selling. I don't get it. What is this? It's so confusing. That at least of a marketing message thing, not so much an SEO thing, because if your consumer doesn't understand it, then how the hell's Google? Like, you know, that I think that's something that I deal with more on a or conversion level than I even do SEO, because, you know, what's the point even bringing traffic to it if it's not going to convert, if nobody gets what's going on here? First things first, convert what traffic you got. And I think through that process, once you get those optimal conversions and you get that message and that marketing message across, I think Google will figure the rest out for you. Put it in their hands, but I think so.
So when I was in law school, the judges I took classes with used to say, if you're up in front of me in a courtroom and you ask me a question, you've got to make it as easy as possible for me to say yes. And you do that by explaining it clearly. Tell me what I want. Tell me what you want, and make it possible. You know, so if you're selling something to somebody, tell them what you have, what you offer. Make that value proposition clear. Make it really easy for them to buy from you.
Do you sometimes find that clients are afraid to do that? They think what they're selling isn't good enough, or it's overpriced, or something, and they want to sell the sizzle rather than the steak.
I think it sort of depends on how long they've been in business. I'm reminded of people who used to come to SEO forums and give themselves names like SEO expert or SEO ninja or SEO guru. And first question they would ask was, how do I sell SEO?
I was Dallas SEO guru in 1993. I did that in 1993. I was Dallas SEO guru, but realized that was in 93. That was 2 years before I filed, or 2 years before I filed, or well, actually 1.2 years before I filed copyrights for meta tags.
Copyrights for meta tags?
Well, go look up my old copyright, dude. It's in the kernel. I couldn't do anything with it. Like how they work, what the things were, how they applied to search engines, all the IU codes and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I thought you filed copyrights on specific meta tags.
Well, no, like how they work in search engines.
I'm not sure that they should work in search engines. Not in metadata behind the published data. That's not how copyright works.
And it's not how search really should work if the user is the goal.
So there's another question with more and more localized search engines. Is everybody using a geo meta tag of some sort?
Do you remember back in the days when Google Maps used to ask you what you were looking for and where you were looking for it? Say pizza, yeah, what and where? Pizza, Carlsbad. It used to ask you both. Now it sort of tries to figure out where you're at, and it assumes that you want something near you already without you having to type near me.
Right.
And Google has said we're getting a lot less near me searches these days because we figured that people want things near them.
Yeah, they assume it already.
Yeah.
And so at the store level, are you using the geotags on the website?
They don't actually use those tags. They don't use a geolocation for that. use city names and stuff. Yeah, that would be it. Like I might put it in structured data. They definitely read the location data and structured data. I've even seen where websites disambiguate addresses for stores using structured data.
And in patents, Google has said we get things like Fort Worth, California, and Fort Worth, Texas, and we assume Fort Worth, Texas in those cases.
Yeah.
Unless we're given reason to think otherwise.
And something else I've noticed, like I've quit even asking people when they say, well, I saw this in my search, because even if you're not logged in, it's still giving you personalized results, especially if your IP doesn't change. Like they can show me stuff that I searched on a long time ago. And every time I go to Google, I look down in the left-hand status bar at the bottom, and it says, you're located in Canada, Toronto. They know exactly where I am, and I'm not logged in. How do they know? IP address. You can even go further than that, and I thought that they were taking the BIOS, the information off the BIOS of computers to track them.
It was my understanding that in incognito, they're still using about 50 of the 200 little pieces of information, so they know where you are.
Right. Context is not personalization, and if you're from if you're searching from the United States, that's not the results you get aren't in English and aren't about the United States because they're personalized, but instead because Google is saying it's more likely than not that somebody searching from the United States wants results that are in the United States. I did try using Google Translate to translate the word gasoline into Cantonese. And then I took the Cantonese and performed a search in Google for gasoline to see if it gave me local gas stations. It didn't. It gave me Chinese sites.
Yeah. What about, I wonder what it would do with Spanish if you were, say, searching from Southern California or...
No, but see, that's the fun. I'm sure Bill knows, but a lot of patents, they when they try to deal with not only languages, but dialects, they use Chinese, because you got Cantonese and you've got, what's the other one?
Mandarin.
Mandarin, thank you. And they used to do a lot of work in that research papers, not patents, but research papers, because apparently that's a very tricky one to get across. Think about Spanish. Like Mexican Spanish is different than Spanish in Spain, which is different than Spanish in South America, so on and so on. Right. Like that's, the challenge. I know, because we're in SEO Hangouts that are English people, we always talk about English and Irish and, Canadian, American, different dialects. But when you get into different forms of actual language like that, there is such a difference in Spanish around the world. You know what I mean? Even French, I guess, to a degree, right? So, look, Terry, Quebec French is totally different than Parisian, right? So,
yeah,
it's a challenge. And again, a lot of the papers, Bill, I don't know if you've seen them, but I've seen a lot that they really like to dig into the Chinese stuff. Well, not patents, sorry, papers, but yeah, that becomes a real challenge, and again, the whole voice search thing is going to make that more amplified,
Right. Now, one of the examples from a patent was the use of the word football. If you're from Australia, if you're from Europe, if you're from the United States, which the game you're looking for is very different in each place.
Right. In Australia, it's more rugby. Australian overalls football is actually kind of rugby. football in the UK and Europe is obviously soccer. In the States, it's what you guys know as football.
Yeah.
And in Canada, we know football as the minor leagues for the NFL.
So
On a bigger
with all
field.
this going on, I just did an interesting experiment. I searched. I'm in Southern California. I just searched for the word janteria or llanteria, which is Spanish for a tire store, and it came back with a bunch of search results translating, showing the translation of janteria to tire store, in Spanish to English. So then I went to Maps and I typed in janteria, and it just sat there, not finding anything near me. Then I typed in Maps, I typed in tire stores, and it found a bunch. And then I went back and typed in janteria again in Maps, and then it started finding the tire stores near me, including one or two that advertise using the name janteria because they're appealing to the Latino market here. So it went. This may be totally a coincidence, but I think it actually learned from that little sequence that, oh yeah, he's not looking for the translation; he's looking for the stores.
It's possible that data centers from Google now have two databases in them, a regional one and a global one.
Yeah.
And they might show you some of the global results unless they think you want the regional results.
Perhaps. Now, one other thing about
like
Spanish.
we were saying earlier, though, you think of a search task. So it's trying to adapt to the task you're trying to complete, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Chan, come here. No, come on, get your shirt. Come on, get the shirt over here.
My shirt.
No, you got to get the shirt over here.
I need my keys.
Get your shirt behind me. So here's Tanya's ugly shirt for Christmas.
That ass
Oh.
It says that ass dough.
now.
Oh, sorry.
That'd be this
Very good.
Yeah,
That,
that's
oh, showing out the ass too. Look at you go.
Oh.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, you're talking a minute ago about the regional differences in languages, like English spoken in the United States versus Britain versus Australia, but and the same you could say with Spanish. There are different pronunciations, but I don't think Google has any reason to care about that unless we're thinking about voice search. But it's really the colloquialisms that are different. Crickets.
No, the phrase-based indexing that Anna Patterson came up with.
Anna Patterson.
She pointed out how Google tends to ignore idioms like top.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to let you go with that, Bill.
Yeah.
Does anybody here know how to spell cool? Related to Anna Patterson. Justin, your knowledge.
Which variant?
Bill, you're not allowed to answer. You're not allowed to answer, man. That's too fucking easy for you. Come on.
Isn't it
No.
CUHL?
Nope.
CULE.
Nope.
No.
My son's trying. Nobody. I believe it was CUIL, wasn't it?
What are we talking about? You lost me.
All right. So one of the most important, and Bill's got on his site some of the. I think Bill had a series a handful of years ago. The most important search patterns in the history of Google, and the phrase-based stuff from Anna Patterson was one of them, and she started a search engine called Cool that tried to use, I believe, with her husband, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And she started a search engine, then Google came and bought her up and everything else, and it was CUIL. Cool. Was that not correct? I believe it is. Yeah. And again, I've got a big
I've forgotten
thing.
all about that, but yeah, that's correct.
Is it? Okay.
You guys article.
Right. No, I just got a big, huge fucking belief that you need to know your search history to know your search future. I mean, you can't just wander in and slap your ideas on a timeline or your theories on a timeline without some goddamn history. And that's what kills me, and it always has with the new generation. Anyway, so move on.
2 weeks after Anna Lynn Patterson, after Cool closed the doors for last time for good, Google hired her back as a vice president of search.
Yeah.
So she probably knows her stuff.
Yeah, you might think.
Yeah.
So, all right, sorry, Bill, where were you going before that? Or have I totally thrown you off track?
Oh, I was talking about idioms and
Damn it! I
how
thought I threw him off track. That cocksucker. Okay, sorry. Man, I thought I had you that time. All right, go ahead.
Google is likely indexing all the phrases it finds on the web on every page. Things that it thinks are meaningful phrases, like President of the United States, if you think that's meaningful anymore. But stuff like top of the...
Oh, little Snarknado in there. A little Snarknado ruins the bed, son. All right, bro. Nice. Well done.
So top of the morning isn't one that they would consider meaningful because it doesn't predict other words that might be on the same page.
But doesn't it also attribute that to domain in the first place? So therefore, not necessarily just page, but where else does it occur?
But think context and value, like in a predictive measure, Steve. Like once it runs into this phrase, it's expecting to see other related and concurrent and contextual phrases to strengthen that context. If it doesn't find them, you could have a dampening score. If it does find them, you could have a boosting score or just a normal score. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
if you've got a page about baseball stadiums, you would expect to see phrases like pitcher's mound or outfield or concession stands.
Or amenities and so on.
On that page. If you don't see them, maybe it's not so much about baseball stadiums.
Right. You know, or you could have a boosting or a dampening based upon those, depending on how your thresholds are set and what you're looking for. Yeah. Yeah. And this is what, you know, again, like, whew, it's going to be my life. And that's the only reason I'm back doing these fucking things is because there's so much talk out there. There's so many of these groups and there's so many people talking about such basic crap and garbage that they don't get it. They don't understand that, you know, that this is how search engines work. Never mind. And again, we're talking about stuff that is pretty much there now. Never mind what's going to happen in the future and where we're going with this. You know?
And it's not like computers can automatically determine whether or not you're using semantic words on your pages. In this case, with phrase-based indexing, they've indexed the web. They've indexed all these phrases. And they've got a inverted index with a posting list that includes all these phrases. So they can tell.
Please never say inverted index because Rand might show up at any moment. So.
Is that semantically tied to Rand somehow?
Wow. Yeah, it might as well be.
So, Bill, what's your...
Him or Bruce Clay, one of the two.
Oh, okay. What is that, Terry?
I was going to ask you, so if I've identified the main entity for the page that I'm going to use these co-occurrences around them, right?
Yeah.
If, say, I'm looking at the top pages, in order to kind of reverse engineer what they're doing, if they had the same co-occurrences, you have to kind of use them in the same context, in the same place in the page. Would that be a good strategy?
You know, I'm gonna let Bill give you the technical fucking answer in a second. You know what I find is that literally, and hopefully Doc will jump in here. If you turn a writer loose and you give them a topic and you give them the money to research that topic so they have enough money to go fucking do that, it'll happen naturally. Like, it's almost like you don't need to target because it becomes natural language. Like, the concept is natural language processing.
Yeah.
So I almost like these days to turn a writer like Doc or somebody loose and just let them naturally, like, do you want, like, Doc, you never ask me like keywords. You ask me about concepts and demographics and this and that, and then you just go do your work, right?
Exactly.
And I find that that's actually what works best, is not to overthink it to a degree, because natural language is just that. I don't know. Doc, you want to go before we set Bill loose on this?
No, yeah. I agree with that 100% because, first of all, I stopped doing keyword research for anything.
Yeah, but at this point, we're
ecom.
talking, no, but now we're talking phrase and contextual research. But again, why even bother? If you've got a
Well,
writer in
exactly.
your stable of writers, like you've got a bunch of writers that work for you, right? And do you overthink it? Do you try to tell them too much, or do you just kind of let them go and then edit yourself later?
I tell them the topic and the audience and the voice I want, and that's it. You know, and then I obviously, and it goes through our editor, and then I do another edit on it, and I look at it in terms of structure and SEO. But I don't pepper keywords in there. I give them a topic, a theme, voice, and I tell them to research it and give me a good piece. With the reader is the target.
Yeah, I don't even refer to them as keywords anymore. They're
No, it's
just
because
words.
it's not. It's phrases and context and context. Anyways, all right, Bill, go ahead.
Words, you know.
All right, go ahead,
And
Bill. I just want to get a writer viewpoint in there. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't always have the benefit of working with trained copywriters, unfortunately. But
CEO and some guy at staff at the company.
if I explain what a related phrase is and the fact that it's a phrase that is meaningful in and of itself, that it when it's found on a page that also ranks highly for the same query term, it's found on a lot of pages that rank highly for the same query term, that it probably is semantically relevant to that query term. And if a list is made of those and included on your page that you're optimizing, it'll help that page be seen as being related or relevant.
Right. So where I put them in the page is not that as much of a deal, is trying to get them fairly close to the same amount of repetitions, etc.
Right. Now, the patents that Google's come out with in the last couple of years that deal with context, like context terms that they might relate to certain query terms, they've indicated that they might collect those context terms and associate them with pages. Pages that maybe they're found for certain queries for. Those also, there's nothing to indicate that they might look for a specific usage of those terms.
Good.
As long as those terms are present.
Okay. The other question I wanted to ask was in regards to main entity in structured data. Do you think that helps Google when you use that structured data?
So the concept of main entity is sort of like the concept of aboutness. If your page is about a particular thing, you've got to show that on the page in meaningful ways, with images, with terms, with words. And the more you can do that, the more successful you're going to be in terms of identifying that entity. So when we get to Google Lens actually working in the real world, I think it's supposedly working now. It's supposedly run with the use of schema. And schema helps identify what that entity is more specifically. So
it'd be kind of, if you use that, would be kind of like giving Google a hint that this is what the page is about. And
right. So if you take a photograph of a band and you search for that band, you may get results that show the band, more pictures of the band, tickets for sale for concerts for that band, and whoever sells those tickets better put schema markup on their pages showing that they have tickets for sale and when the events are. And they might want to include main entity, the band in question.
So make sure when you're using that to use just the entity and none of the kind of modifiers that we kind of think of with them.
Well, you can put the attributes that may be associated with a particular thing as long as they're in a format. You know, you want the think about things like canonical link elements. Well, you've got canonical queries. You've got canonical entities. You know, what's the most common type of description, name, term for a particular person?
Okay.
Or for a question about a person. There was a paper that came out from Google last year called Bifurpedia, which talks about them building ontologies about entities based on queries that people perform. So they've been creating canonical lists of queries, how people ask for things.
That's probably how those new questions that are in ambiguous. I found a lot of those questions are in the ambiguous search.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to disambiguate them even further than they've already started doing. Like when you start looking at that particular space, it's really interesting as to what they're doing right now. I would encourage anybody who, really interested to look at ambiguous queries now, because you'll see a big difference from even 2-3 months ago. Huge differences. And that it hasn't been talked about in the community is just astounding to me, considering it's one of their biggest problems for a search engine is ambiguous queries.
Right. I would recommend most people look for the paper on Bifurpedia too, because it contains a lot of information that most people who do SEO should know.
Right.
I almost want to save that till next week. Most people, that's gonna be a meme. I'm going to take that little piece and turn it into a fucking GIF, and it'll be the new meme.
A rant.
Well, it was just
anytime no, Doc, you know where I'm going with this, right? Anytime I'm in one of those Facebook groups and someone says something stupid, I'm going to post a 2-second meme from Bill going, most people in SEO should know. Yeah, that's my new meme right there. Yeah.
But that's a bit like Dave. Remember when caffeine came out and I was going crazy when I saw they were doing parallel indexing, right? Like that was thought to be impossible, and they were doing it, and no one talked about it.
Dude, because we're computer geeks. We started, in information. We started with web design. We started with computing and building our own computers and all that shit. Nobody does it anymore. They come in being link spammers and content whores and fucking.
Yeah, but also that they don't know even how basic indexing works.
Right. Of course not.
They don't realize that how Google put results
ours
in 5 seconds.
The world you and I Bill was a web developer before he got into SEO and stuff, and I don't know about the rest of the gang here, but it's literally, again, I say it week after week, but it's like a web developer not knowing HTML is an SEO that doesn't know how a search engine works. It's the fucking same thing. Like, how could you be a search engine optimizer if you don't know how a fucking search engine works? You're not. You're a fucking content spammer. You're a link spammer. You're a fucking spammer of whatever flavor. You
don't necessarily need to be able to build a search engine.
No, but you need to know how they work.
Yes.
You need to at least have a rudimentary understanding. And to be honest, Bill, because, I read papers, patents, and I watch fucking, I watch, I go the Harvard, sorry, not Harvard, MIT, fucking, all these guys, they put out videos of lectures and stuff. And I watch those lectures, and I have to watch them 20 fucking times just to get like half an idea what they're talking about. Because I don't know the math like they do. I don't know it as well as they do. But no, you know, if I ask somebody how many of those lectures they've watched in my industry, I could go 1,000 people and find 2. I mean, nobody does that. Like no, but apparently there's search engine optimizers that have no clue how a search engine fucking even the beginnings of how it works. Because I don't claim to know how a search engine, like I don't know the math. You know what I mean? When I go through the patents and stuff, I play around with the algebra, I play around with stuff, and I look at it, and sometimes you know, most of the time it's beyond me. You know, after reading them and papers and patents and everything for the last 20 fucking years, well, 15, I have an idea of where things are going when I'm reading it. Meeting are just like spammers. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but that's all you are. You're talking about links and you're talking about context is king and content is king and PBNs and link. You don't have a fucking clue. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a joke. Our industry, to a degree, to me at least, is a joke. They don't have a clue. They don't. You know, and they'll argue with you tooth and nail. Well, it works.
Because they're, you know, you're destroying all their beliefs. You know,
Well,
they
Terry,
don't know how to do it any other way. So you're basically
Terry,
saying they don't know what they're doing.
Terry, you're my favorite thing is testing, right? The oldest conversation in this fucking industry, and it's alive and well, by the way. Lucky you, you're not out in these groups where I am, but I got to keep putting out fires, so it's what I got to do. Stay white and die, but other than that, I choose to be there. Because Steve and Doc gave me shit the other day. But testing, are you fucking nuts? You know, how can you test something you don't understand? How can you test something you don't know? Because your hypothesis is going to be flawed. And so your ability to analyze results is going to be flawed. Like I hear this in groups all the time. Oh, have you tested this net? Has anyone tested this net? I was testing the other day. It's like, what the fuck are you people smoking? Like, I actually smoke dope. You people should, because you might as well. Nuts, man. It's they haven't a clue. They have not got a clue. Because not only are you testing on 1 or 2 sites as opposed to millions or thousands?
Depends on the scale of what you're trying to test for. Are you testing how to change the reviews in Google Maps? So I pull up within the voice search parameters of the first 3 listings in another state. What if I'm doing that? That's a different kind of test.
Again, so parameters and hypothesis, right? And clearly analyze the as results without bias.
Well, that's TBD. And being able to understand that there is an unknown and factoring out what is known from what is unknown, and therefore to discover the unknown to therefore increase the known.
Like one of my favorite people, at least that I could look to when I talk about testing, is Dr. Pete. And even Pete, when I pull him aside privately, he's like, I don't have a fucking clue. Because there's too many parameters involved. You know, it's a black box. And without parameters to test against, without known factors to test against, there's too many unknowns and too many underneath the hood that you can't get anything but some insight. No, to give it, I don't mind someone who says I tested some stuff and here's what I found. I don't know what it means. You know, it could be this and that. That's fine. I don't mind that. That's a supposition I can live with. And started making definitive posts and saying definitive things, that's full of shit. It drives me nuts. Always has. It's nothing new, guys. You know, I mean, this has been going on since the dawn of this industry, but it still irritates the shit out of me.
Right. So I worked on a blog post last week for a patent from Google that talked about reviews, and it said we may start looking at reviews, and if you don't visit the place that you reviewed and return to it, we may start applying a decay factor on the score that you applied. So,
Yes.
so if you ranked a review 5 stars and then you never ever go back to the place, they may diminish it over time. So people got upset and said, well, that's not fair to attorneys and or accountants. You know, my answer to that was the patent's written for people who are supposedly learned in the art. And you people know that people don't go back to attorneys and accountants like they go back to restaurants, or they can go back to restaurants.
It's a measurement, though, because of that instance. Based on what you wrote on the patent and what I read, it's different based on the instance because the time decay on me going to Taco Bell, which technically is 52 Tuesdays on Taco Tuesday during a year. Okay. How many? Well, no, I've got. You guys, I could say, okay, Google, how many times have I gone to Taco Bell in the last 3 months? It told me in the other room. Anyway, it said it in the other room.
Oh, see.
The point.
No, and Bill, I don't know if you've done like I can tell by what he's doing there. He fucks with it a lot, like I do.
Yeah.
If OK Google isn't one of the top things on your brain as an SEO, you might I play with that shit a lot. Like that shit is fucking interesting.
If you press the button on your phone for Google now, you don't have to say OK Google. You just ask it for something.
Oh, now you're just fucking showing off,
yeah.
aren't you? All right.
I'm thinking about buying one of those so I can tell Google to its face.
Okay, Google, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly like that.
No, I'll
Every time I get angry, I'll just hook up to it and give it
to this day. Steve, say, okay, Google, who am I?
So I'll ask about news about Amazon. News about Apple patents. It'll tell me here's the latest news, and show me a bunch of articles. I'll say news about Amazon patents. It'll say we don't have that information right now.
Really? It doesn't answer the question.
It answers a question about Amazon like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Okay, Google, who am I? What?
Oh, come on.
That's weird.
What'd she say?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Hey, the last time I did it, it said, "I'm sorry, you don't know who you are." Something like you need help, or
because you're doing it on your phone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Okay, here, let's just see if we can.
Who am I, Google?
I remember you telling me your name was Bill.
Oh, she's getting smart. See, I haven't done that for like a year. She's getting smarter. I like it.
All right, guys, you ready? Are you ready? Okay, Google, who am I?
I remember you saying it's Dark Overlord.
Is that your gamer tag or something? What is that?
What?
Dark Overlord. Is that your gamer tag, man? That's gotta be.
Actually, my old hacker alias was Dark Overload.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Same shit.
Eamon's been trying to get in.
But Google can't realize that Dark Overload made sense, so it automatically called me Dark Overlord. So I left it. All right, here we go. That's not bad. Being able to go mobile and back plugged into the whole network, everything real quick. Yay! Praise God. Okay. But no, that's there's all kinds of things. God, $100 bet party game.
Okay. Now Eamon can't get in here because Google is telling him.
Amazon or Google.
Wait. This is good. It's my Christmas party, so fuck you. All right, so Eamon's trying to get in here, and Google is telling him that he can't access this Hangout because he has blocked one of the participants. I just messaged him on Facebook, said it must have been Steve.
I wonder which one of us it is.
Well, apparently that's the new game now. We got to lay some bets here because, apparently he's blocking one of us. No, Steve Plunkett. Crazy Xbox. He's a gamer like me. He's nuts.
What about me?
Well, you're
What'd
a
you
gamer
do to piss him off, Bill?
Yeah, Bill, what'd you do, man? The fuck?
They're all old and drink whiskey and have no
I don't know. He must have been one of his moments. And, oh well, we're not doing that in the air. All right, so what did you guys? Okay, all right. What time is it? 2:15. Okay, we got about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go here. And in any fucking order. Actually, I'm gonna start this with Terry since he seems so happy today.
Terry's happy.
If you wanted one thing for Christmas from Google, Terry, what would it be?
Oh, gee. I don't know. I don't need anything from Google. I tend to do things on my own.
All right, so Terry's answer is nothing because Google never bought shit from my clients.
Hey, Dave, here's your answer.
Yeah.
Look.
What's okay.
See?
Oh, so it's you. It's you. What the fuck? Oh, I'm gonna tell
Not
him.
me. It's not me. You see
Well,
what
you
I'm
blocked him, or
no,
he blocked you, or
me.
what?
He blocked me.
Oh, fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
All just get along. It's Christmas.
No, he's had a fucking weird year, so don't worry about it. It's not personal, man. It's just a momentary thing.
Well, like I could I block people all the time. If you're addicted to me on Twitter, I'm gonna block you.
Yeah, so do I, Steve. But it's called my fucking brain. I just stopped talking to them. I don't actually literally spend the time to go and actually block them from anything. Are you fucking kidding me? Again, I'm 50.
Yeah.
I'm fucking 51, so I live from an age where I use my head instead of my fingers.
It just means it's too much work for you.
Oh, okay, my wife's right. She just said it means it's too much work for you. Yeah, I'm lazy. She's right. Yeah, that just is way too much work. I just stop talking to you and you'll go away.
Unless you're one of Dave's exes.
Unless I'm one of my exes? Thanks. Wow. Really, baby? Really, baby? It's going to be like that? Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh, someone's sleeping on the couch.
There is. Yeah, I'm always sleeping on the couch. But it's a new couch, so, yeah, it's nice. All right, so is Tim still there? Tim, you still paying attention? Is Tim still alive?
No, Tim left.
Tim left. Oh, it's Tammy still. All right, Tammy. So if you had one thing to ask that you'd like for Google for Christmas, what would it be?
I'd like the bitch to make up her mind.
Oh, she's a girl. Google's a bitch. I like it.
Google's a girl. There's no two ways about it. She doesn't know what she wants. She changes her mind all the time. She leads you astray with this will please me, and then it doesn't. No, Google is a woman. 100%.
Nice.
All of my clients now, when I refer to Google, it's she. Like, just make her happy. Do this to make her happy. Google's a woman.
All right, somebody go look up. Somebody go. I know Steve. Sorry, we got two Steves now all of a sudden. Plunkett, go look up googlesabitch.com. Let's see. That's around. I'm going to go register that for Tammy. All right.
100.
All right. To keep the entertainment slightly lesser, Steve. Oh fuck! I got three Steves again. All right, so Steve, Canadian Steve, what do you want for Google for Christmas?
I just love that explanation that Tammy just gave. That just put everything into perspective for me. So yeah, I was going to say an explanation, but I think that was it.
Oh wow! So we got times two. All right, there we go. Nice.
Hey, Dave.
Doc. Doc, what do you want?
Stop
Doc,
fucking with Google Plus. Leave the damn UI alone. Find something that works and hands off of it for at least 3 or 4 weeks at a time.
Oh, sorry, what is this Google Plus thing you're referring to? I'm not quite sure. Oh, right, where we are now. Well, no, actually, technically, I launched these through YouTube now, so I don't even have to go there too often.
Same difference.
No, not too often. Mr. Plunkett, what would you like from Google for Christmas?
I want to be SVP of YouTube Music.
Nice, I like that. You could probably, I can live with that. Yeah. In case anyone didn't know, originally, like, do you still got your DJ ones, right? Your other accounts and personas.
Yeah, like actually, I'm
okay.
Hanging out with Deadmau5 New Year's, but yeah.
For those who didn't know, he's not only a search guy, he's also a DJ. DJ Paisley back in the day. All right, Bill. We're going there. What would you like from Google for Christmas, Bill?
I've asked this before. I haven't got an answer. I've tried John Mueller and Gary Ills, however you pronounce his name. What a result score is in the Google Knowledge Graph API. When you enter a search for an entity, it might tell you what the entity is, the definition of that entity. It'll include a result score showing you how much confidence they have that that's what that entity
So
is.
maybe like in Search Console or something, or where are you thinking?
It's the Knowledge Graph Search API.
Well,
yeah, I'm saying where would you like that? Oh, so you're saying in the actual organic results?
There is a interface for the Knowledge Graph Search API.
Which doesn't work for shit for them to update stuff to correct things that are wrong for brands and entities that are actually official and verified. They still can't edit anything that shows up on the knowledge panel on their end. So the feedback buttons are exactly useless.
Right. I don't care if that was
if you search for
thing, but at least
if you search for something like Google and this Knowledge Graph Search API, you get 10 or so results, and one of them is Topeka, Kansas, which changed its name one day to Google, Kansas, to try to get Google Fiber. So they've got a long memory, but the answers tend to make sense. That was the one that I searched for Darth Vader and got Dick Cheney as one of the results.
Yeah, well, I remember that, but no, but that wasn't that one of those. Wasn't that Google bombing? You guys remember that stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
that wasn't Google bombing. No, that was
okay.
That was an in-house White House joke.
Okay.
People at the White House used to call Dick Cheney Darth Vader.
Yeah, I can't see why. All right, Steve G, you came late, but you got to tell us what you want for Google for Christmas.
I'm greedy. I just want all clicks in my managed AdWords accounts to be 50% off.
There you go.
All right, so I'm gonna finish up and go esoteric on y'all asses. What I want for Christmas is more of the same, because I know whatever the fuck I actually want ain't gonna happen. So I've just been able to, for the last at least 10 years of my career, have a pretty good idea where they're going next. And so I've been able to future-proof for my clients and stay on fucking point. And so as long as they don't make any drastic right or left turns, I think I'm okay. There you go. All right, so we're, let's see, an hour and a half in. So I'm going to kill the public version, folks. So we're going to go back around the room, and we're going to start with Steve Driven Media over here. Since you're late to the party. So say goodbye, since you didn't actually do anything here. You just came for the after show.
Bye.
Tell everyone
Merry
who
Christmas,
you are.
everybody.
Thank you. Tell everyone who you are and where we can find you.
Just Steve today. Not doing anything. No work. That's why I'm late.
And for anyone who doesn't know, I was once asked for my 3 greatest fucking mentors in this business, and it was this guy here. Hold on. Oh, I can click buttons. I run this. Haha. This guy here and this guy here. So there you go. All right. So I'll go back to the left. Bill, you're next.
Okay, so Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year.
Are you writing anything right now? Anything you're planning on publishing between now and New Year, or are you taking the time off?
I was looking for things to write. I was thinking that
that's just totally wrong, Bill.
I was thinking that
it doesn't jump on you if it doesn't grab you. Well, even doesn't for me anymore because I just don't fucking write. But you can't look for things right. Anyway, sorry, man. Go ahead.
I was thinking about things to write. How's that?
That works.
Well, if you come up with a topic, Bill, I can give you a pulpit.
He already has his own. And he didn't even put himself there. Everyone else did. And the poor bastard has to live with it. All right, Doc, say goodbye. Tell everyone what you're doing if there's anything interesting. Well, okay, I'm going to do this because Doc won't, because, you know, he's just anti-pimping on other people's shit. So search News Central, folks. Anybody that's probably going to end up seeing this, which is hardly anyone, would know that I used to own Search News Central. Doc came to me because it was in the wastebasket, and he's trying to revive it. So he's got some people going over there, and I really appreciate it. If anyone just go watch it, go read over there and spend some time, follow his Facebook channel and shit like that. Because I know you're not going to do that, Doc. So anyways, other than that, what are you doing?
Okay, thanks for the plug. Yeah, I'm going to be working through the holiday. We've got some family visiting for the holiday through the second week of January. And so there'll be plenty of food and booze and laughter. I hope everybody has a great holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you're into. Hanukkah's over, but
I just go with Happy Holidays. I don't fucking know.
I just refuse to do that.
We're talking to the guy in Israel the other day. We're sort of fucking touched. We didn't even know that, you know, Hanukkah's over. So
yeah, that was the last day. Yeah, I just refuse to say Happy Holidays because I wouldn't want anybody to mistakenly think that I was being politically correct. That
you got the fingers gloves on again. What is it, like 65? Me, man. Anyways,
I wish it was 55.
Also, since I'm pimping it, I also noticed, and Doc tell me I do pay attention once in a while, not too often, for people from Australia and the UK, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, we've already built out a site. We've already built out an SNC for both, and we have some writers for both. I have about a dozen already signed up for the UK. I think 4 right now for Australia.
So yeah, Doc is expanding the brand, and so anybody from UK and Australia, feel free to talk to them. All right, Terry.
Yeah.
I hate to ask, but what are you up to other than watching Leafs hockey?
Well, I'll be doing that for sure. But I have a post finished for unambiguous query spaces. I'm pretty sure that some of the stuff that was talked about as being a local update, the possum update, I'm convinced some of that was not a local change, but just a bunch of changes that happened between the beginning of August and the middle of August. Saw some. That's when I believe they started disambiguating the Serbs.
Nice. So everyone will be looking for that. And where are you publishing this, sir?
I'm not sure. I'm going to try some of the top places. Get more.
To be honest with you, like I know Search Engine Journal has been the butt of our jokes for a long time, but there's a handful of people that have been hanging out there lately that I actually kind of respect, and Lauren Baker's always been a friend, so I'd almost even consider that because I'm not so sure about Search Engine Land anymore, but you know, you might want to consider that. Oh, Nick, nice to see you.
I'm not even sure it'll be posted.
And if anything, to be honest with you, fucking what's our girl there, Doc? Shit, I've been out of the game for a year.
Gabby?
What's her name?
Gabby?
No, Doc. No, Doc. Search engine.
You talking about SimPost? You talking about SimPost?
Yes, that's yeah. I totally respect her.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a channel I actually listen to. So yeah, that might be someone to approach for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I respect her channel. For sure. Okay, Tammy, give us an idea what you're up to these days, and say goodbye to everyone. We love you. By the way, everyone, Tammy is my new girlfriend, and so like, cause we like since you know, like Ray Hoffman disappeared, and well, Jill well into it, I guess, a degree, but there just hasn't been enough lady voices out. So I asked Tammy to start hanging out with us and kick some ass because, you know, some ladies need some representation.
What? I'll
So,
kick ass,
oh, Tammy's right.
that ass, though.
You're kicking ass? Not a big girl. Anyways, Tammy, so what are you up to next?
Merry Christmas, because I'm not politically correct either. And yeah, I'm trying to bring boobs back into SEO because they're fabulous, and you all like them. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
I like mine.
That one.
I'm actually not doing anything exceptionally exciting yet.
Like you write or you
I do. There's
go
some
to conferences, or are you just like sitting in the
You're
hole of the
late.
wall doing your job? Or
You're late.
So this next year, I'll be going to 3 or 4 conferences that I have missed. The last one I went to was PubCon, but I stayed really kind of incognito. And so, yes, I'll be doing conferences this year, San Jose, and we've got some pretty big name clients right now that want some attention in the spring. You can see some of the articles I've written on the blog, the company blog, but I'm not widely published, no. So.
yeah, well, and that's it. You know, I mean, I spent some quality time with you lately when I drunk dialed you there the other night, and you know, you're once she's a smart lady, folks. I was like, you know, Terry, like I said, man, she's been around as long as you have, and I had no idea. Like I'd seen you on the, you know, here and there, bounced into you, but you just not vocal enough. So I've been telling Tammy to get more vocal because the ladies do need some sort of role model out here. So.
I think we really do, but also you know I love this stuff just as much as you guys. I love learning from experts, and I love correcting people that are wrong. So you know, let's do this. Bring on 2018.
And Nick, you don't get to say shit because you just showed up. So. Nick just showed up for the green room after the show. All right, folks, thank you very much. Next Friday will be the end of the month, the end of the year, and so I've got a whole bunch of topics lined up, and we're just going to go play with what we saw this year and what we see going forward, etc., etc. And that's always the most entertaining, and it will not be like any of those stupid posts you see out on the internet, which are gonna, you know, it's funny, guys. I used to always every year just hate this time of year. Because every asshole and his brother is going to come out with a post in the next 7 days about what's going to happen in 2018. You know, but at least this panel of people, I can appreciate that will be something actually useful. Just tune in next Friday. That's what we'll be doing. And thanks for tuning in. And guys, everybody, thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Or Happy
Christmas.
holidays or what the fuck ever.
Merry Christmas.